216-578-1007 to join us live, or 800-348-1007. Another $1,000 for you to win. Closer to 2:30, there'll be a chance for you to text and win 4 times during the show today. At 2:30 specifically, then 4:30, 5:30, and 6:30 this afternoon for the foreseeable future. For the next few weeks, we'll be giving away about $12,000 a day. That is during the week, and then a handful of times on Saturdays and Sundays. I think it's on Saturdays and Sundays. Maybe not. I thought I saw something initially that it was. If you listen to this show on iHeartRadio from outside of Ohio, tell me where you do that. I always like to know where people are. Make sure that you're on our map, which is displayed behind young Bill Squire there on the live stream. Jared listens in Dayton. Curtis is in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. Tammy is out in Custer, Washington. Kelly's in Milwaukee. Nick's in San Francisco. And I heard from Dave, who is our bureau chief in Cranberry, PA, which is about an hour north of downtown Pittsburgh. And he said, a couple days ago, I was talking about this promo we were running that said that 92% of people listen to radio, and I was curious who the 8% were. Dave says he's one of the 8%. He goes, I just listened to the podcast of your show, and that's it. See, I guess my brain kind of compartmentalizes because this is still a show on the radio. We have a podcast of it, but it's not like a traditional podcast in that sense. You know what I mean? So Dave's a guy. He's one of the 8%ers.
Yeah.
So I don't listen to the radio. Unless he's listening to this show, which originates
on the radio.
On the radio. Thank you.
So he's technically not a radio listener because
that's what he says. He goes, I listen to the podcast of your show, and that's it.
That's true.
Didn't specify what he does listen to otherwise. Maybe just music in the car. Who knows, right? Long as he's listening to this, I don't care what the hell else he's doing. He's already given me more information than I deserve.
Right, especially with all that sweet podcast money we get.
Dollar bill.
Right. Let me check the tally, Bill. Mm-hmm. Oh, remains flat at 0.
Flatten that curve.
There you go. Flatten that curve. Yeah, ironically, I was saying that today was National High Five Day. They might just want to... Do you remember where you were on High Five Day 2019, not knowing that it was going to be the last High Five Day ever? I mean, where were you on April the 16th, 2019?
No more high fives.
Anyone know? No more high fives. I mean, again, for those of us who didn't really do that in the first place, it's a welcome dismissal for that. April 16th, 2019. It was a Tuesday.
Oh, my only my Facebook status was, what should my walk-on music be for the Alan Cox Show comedy tour this year?
Look at that.
That was the most important thing in my life.
All right.
1 year ago today.
All right. Well, there you go. I have a friend who has a birthday today, and I paid my gas bill last year on this day, not knowing that it was National High Five Day, but who cares? At AlanCoxShow.com, I mentioned at the top of the show, you can get Poundcake's new column. It's called Be Kind. You finally got me, Cody.
Third time's a charm.
Third time's a charm.
What do you mean I got you?
This is the first one I like.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
It's concise. I think it's written well. Who helped you?
No, it was just me.
Okay. Well, because you guys are both saying you were going to help him.
Well, I sent him like an edited piece of his last week, and I said, hey, this is kind of a more streamlined way to do it. Here's an example of how to take 12 words and get it down to 6 words so it makes more sense. So I don't know if you use that as a reference or not, but we went over that last week.
I did.
Yeah.
It's just kind of hard because that was based on last week's story, and I took your advice, but...
The only advice I will give you is content-oriented. Write about things you haven't talked about on the show.
Okay.
Because these are all kind of Cliff's notes for stories that have been told on the show. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Now, granted, the life we're all living now, we're going to have way fewer stories.
Correct.
So that's not even that much of a criticism.
That's why I go to Poundcake's past.
And that's kind of why I told you when you sent it to me last night, I'm like, expound a little bit more on that situation that you were in, that you talk about in the story, because... it's pretty funny. And like I even wanted to, like, I enjoyed it and I laughed when I read it, and my girlfriend laughed too. But I thought it would have been funny if you kind of played out a scenario where you and this 19-year-old were almost like Mary's friends, and you were quarantined together, and you guys had to like
What would that be like?
kind of you had to grow up real fast and like
I know, and
forced into a relationship.
I thought about that because after you sent me that correction, I was like, I can imagine what my life would be like, but I honestly don't know the kid well enough. I only know what he told me in maybe the,
but you
the
can,
5 or 6 hours that we spent together.
But when you're being creative and you're writing things like that, you can create whatever scenario you want.
True.
So you can have some fun with that and create some scenarios where, there's some good things and some bad things, and then you get annoyed, and it's like the cute annoying things, and then it's the really annoying things, and then how you guys break up and put a line down the middle of the apartment.
Your side's over here.
You mean my room?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which makes it even funnier.
We're sharing a room. No one wants to touch my vagina.
I got your video games, Trevor.
Yeah, you dusty ass bitch. Try playing Risk now. No, I liked the end of it.
That was my favorite part.
Just a little over a month with no end in sight. I don't know if my emotions have gotten the best of me. I don't know what's out of desperation, loneliness, or horniness. I know before the pandemic, I wasn't as generous with likes on Instagram. Now I'm double tapping everybody's shrimp, even the ugly bitches. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Thank you.
So Poundcake's newest Poundcake is at AlanCoxShow.com. I thought I was going to come in here today half blind. I always keep a candle lit on the the refrigerator in the Alan Cox Show office. I like the way it smells. Started burning pine-scented candles at Christmas, right? And I brought all the boys to the yard. Now there's nobody here, but I've kind of kept it going just kind of as a token of normalcy.
Yeah.
I like the way it smells. Well, I normally blow it out before we go on the air just so there's not a candle burning and there's no one else around, right? I don't know what I think is going to happen. It's just how I was raised. You don't leave lights on in the room you're not in. You blow candles out. I don't know if people think that there's like things in your brain that are instilled in you early on, as though a candle will fall over on its own. It's ludicrous, but still you have that in your head. So
it's a safe practice.
Yeah, I normally will blow that out before we start the show. Yesterday I didn't, and so when I was leaving here, it's probably a 7:15 maybe, I went to blow out the candle, not realizing how much liquid wax was in there, and I guess I blew a little too hard. It all splashed up in my face. Hot wax. I can't believe I didn't get any on my eyeball. I must have shut my eye so fast because it was in my eyebrow, my lashes, my cheek.
Oh my goodness.
I cannot believe that I didn't get any. And for a second, I was just standing there with my right eye closed because I'm
afraid
like,
to open it, yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, if it had been on my eyeball, I think there would have been no question. I would have known. But I just don't know how I got my eye closed that fast because it was everywhere on my face.
My ex-girlfriend would put candles everywhere. And, I don't mind candles, but she, put them on a bedside table and knocked it over once, and it had been burning for a while. So the candle went out immediately, but it got hot wax all over carpet.
Yeah.
Which is just...
You'll never get
not
it out.
Getting out.
Fun.
You're
Yeah.
not getting out. You gotta pull up the
How
carpet.
would you even try to get that out?
You don't.
You
just have a wax
Peanut
stain
butter?
now on
Yeah,
you.
you just kind of scrape it
You
out.
have to scrape it.
With gum in your hair?
No, because my mom had one. My mom had it was a wax burner. She had one where you have, I don't know, it's just like a little.
It's like a warmer.
Yeah, and it was always burning. And my brother, he was just always so impulsive and tripping over everything and clumsy.
I don't know if impulsive means what you think it means.
He was impulsive as in he doesn't think before he does something, and he'll hit and not even think about it. But he's also clumsy, and those two do not mesh. And he hit it, and it fell over, and it went all down the wall, and then it seeped into the side of the carpet. So it was in the carpet, underneath the carpet, and on the carpet. And so we had to peel it up. Thing is, he didn't know about it.
Triple threat.
He didn't know that he did it until months later, to where it was all luckily the house didn't burn down. But yeah.
I thought I was going to come in looking like the Phantom of the Opera.
Ew.
I genuinely did.
Oh, that would have been a fun look for you.
Would it have been?
Yeah,
I mean, listen,
because you still got the good hair, so you got the mask, which you're supposed to be wearing a mask right now anyway. So it's
He makes a good point.
Pretty.
It's only half your face, only the
pretty
right
cool.
side.
Yeah,
it's true.
Now,
I did have a
question.
mask on in Giant Eagle this morning.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. Which
I only mentioned it because I hadn't been doing it, but I feel like now it's like, and there are a lot of people not doing it.
I wore mine.
But I'm
mine.
like, I'm trying to do best practices here, and
grocery shopping or in public or anything. Where the wax was on your face, how did your skin feel? Is it smoother? Did it
remove any hair?
exfoliate? Is it
No.
No, it's not like you found a new hygiene practice or something.
And you know why that is?
Why?
Because my skin is always like a baby's ass. Ooh. My skin.
Nothing could improve it, huh?
How could it?
Yeah.
I mean, I would certainly be. Trust me, if somebody told me, it's going to make your skin even more amazing, hot candle wax, I'd be pouring it all over this mug. Who cares? What do I care? But no, I was like, okay, now let's go check out the damage. And so I'm kind of half squinting going down the hall into the bathroom here. And I'm looking in the mirror, and it's just everywhere on this side of my face. Green wax. It's a good look. I got $1,000 here for you. Get you some green wax. A chance for you to whatever. $1,000. I don't have to tell you what to do with it, but good luck.
Rover's Morning Glory wants to help with a chance at $1,000. We have your shot at $1,000 right now. Text the nationwide keyword CARE, C-A-R-E, to 200-200. You'll get a text confirming entry plus iHeartRadio info. Standard data and message rates apply in this nationwide contest. That's CARE to 200-200. Good luck. From 100.7 WMMS.
Brian Dennehy died.
Yep.
Now, I think Bill and I both thought that he had died a while ago. Brian Dennehy was one of those guys where even if you don't know the name, and I imagine most people would, you would absolutely know the face. And he's been in a ton of amazing movies. He was in First Blood. He was the sheriff in First Blood. I feel that's kind of when he started really getting noticed.
Yeah, he got a lot of heat for
First
that.
Blood was kind of a surprise hit, the first Rambo movie. He was in Cocoon. He was in Silverado. He was in Presumed Innocent, which is one of my favorite movies of the entire decade of the 80s with Harrison Ford. And he did a lot of stage work. And he was 81 years old. And I thought he was already dead.
Yeah,
He was
that's
a stock-
exactly what I thought. I feel bad, but I'm like, oh man, Brian Dennehy was alive. Like,
And
that's what I
I feel
reacted.
like we've gone through this before where he was in the news for something and we thought he was dead then. And
Yeah.
that was probably 5 years ago. So for an actor of incredible talent and renown, we repeatedly killed this guy.
Repeatedly?
Thinking that, every time we'd bring him up, we thought he was dead. He was a stockbroker before he became an actor. But he would show up before First Blood. If you go back, you'll see him pop up in movies. Like there was a movie many years ago called Foul Play. I think it might have been Chevy Chase's first movie. It's 1976. And I think Brian Dennehy was in that.
That's when they take chickens and they hoard them illegally and try
Foul. You'd certainly think so.
Yeah.
You'd certainly hope that it was a Chevy Chase movie about chickens.
Yeah, like a chicken coop.
Oh my God, the poster could say Chase, chickens. What could be better?
Foul play.
Foul play. It was a young It was a young hot Goldie Hawn in that movie.
That'd be great if that was actually part of the title. So anytime they did an interview,
Yes.
they're on a talk show and they're like, "Hi, we have Brian Dennehy here from Foul Play."
That's the sequel.
Yeah.
It's foul play and then foul play.
More foul play. Right. James
Bagawker.
Lipton's inside the actor's studio. Brian Dennehy.
What does the word "bagok" mean to you?
And then the greatest film of your career, Foul Play Bagawk.
Actually, it's a.
Foul Play Bagawk.
That's such a fun sound.
It is.
You don't think?
I hear it a lot at home. My daughter's in like a whole chicken phase right now, so yeah, I hear that a lot at home. A lot of like. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like,
Is she doing like the
kids are
arms and
unless
the
you're
walking?
not doing that, just the verbal trills. And then Easter time, you get that a lot because they still run. I swear, the Cadbury company spent their entire marketing budget on one commercial 30 years ago, and it's the only one they ever run.
It's one that.
It's
Why update it?
It's classic.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, but anything could be classic if that was the only thing you ever ran. Everything will eventually become classic. We all know what I'm talking about. The bunny. Mm-hmm.
It's like auditions.
That's yeah, right.
The lion tries, and there's a bunch of different animals.
Yeah, Cadbury. Only one animal brings Cadbury Easter eggs or whatever, and the ad is so grainy Because it's from...
Probably 1984.
It's got to
like,
be.
It's old.
I was young when that started.
And it might be even older than that, yeah.
You know what? I like those, and I like the Christmas time ones that come back too, like the Hershey Kisses in the triangle where they make the
There's a
bells.
good story behind
I
that
like
one.
that one, and that one's been around forever.
The Hershey's one is one that they don't update because they take whatever it would be their marketing budget for Christmas time, and they give that as bonuses to workers.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
We didn't get a Hershey Kiss.
Here you go. Merry Christmas. They're like wrong company, Jim.
I think
came
that's
over
the
from
company
Cadbury.
that is the case for. It might be a different one, but I'm pretty sure it's the Hershey one.
Well, they have the Corona, the classic Christmas Corona one too, where it's like
The lights are in the palm trees.
It's just just like that really cool scene, and then the palm tree lights up, and it's like Corona. I'm like, oh yeah, I like those a lot.
Tommy Boy. I always forget Brian Denny. He was
Yeah.
the father in Tommy Boy.
Outlived his son.
Yeah. A few movies that he was a part of will be released. 3 movies will be released posthumously. But he was, he had a big, long career. Brian Dennehy. What a bummer. Hey, let me go to Phil. Hi, Phil.
Hi there.
What's going on?
Hey, I have a colorful story about Wax Bill. I had just bought a black Subaru GL sedan, and my daughter, who was about 5 years old, was in the back coloring with a box of crayons. You know, one of those boxes, maybe 16 or 24 colors in a box.
Sure.
Well, we got home and got in the house, shut the doors of the car, locked up the car, everything. It was 93 degrees outside. My car was black, and when I came back out, her crayons were out of the box, melted all over the back seat of the white, gray seating.
Sure.
Every color in the world you could imagine.
Well,
sure, it looked beautiful. Every color in the world, stopping at 24.
Well, back in that world,
Sure.
nowadays we have a million colors.
There's no burnt umber in there.
Yes, I think it's that's in the 32 pack.
With the sharpener in it.
No, that's the 64.
Oh, God,
Rich
boy.
kids.
Was
Rich
Phil
kids.
work for Crayola? All right. He's really got it down.
Beanie and
He
Smith.
was traumatized.
Right. Well, I was really just, what am I going to do? You know, I took old terry cloth towels and an iron, which you iron your clothes with, and I put the cloth over the wax and went over it with the iron.
You melt the wax again.
It made it melt, and it absorbed the wax out of the fabric.
You turn it from a
knowing that the-
solid back into a liquid.
Yes, very colorful liquid. Being
Yeah.
absorbed by the cotton weave of the towel.
I assume your daughter's all grown up now, right?
Oh, yes, she's way gone.
Okay, there you go.
I gave her up for adoption. I don't know where she is.
No
she
clue.
ruined my car.
Oh, no. But it took about a half hour or so and several old towels. But I got out probably 98 to 99% of the wax and color. And the rest of it I just cleaned up with spot remover.
There you go. And then you
Hey.
took that paper towel and you framed it, didn't
And
you?
you
And
know
had your
what?
daughter put her name on it.
You would have never known the wax was there.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Of course, I've never seen the car.
Melting. Melting is the solution. You just got to remelt those crayons. All right. Thank you, Phil. There you go.
Fire with fire.
Fight. Fire with fire. Hey, listen. For people who are worried about the meat supply running out, you are right. Listen, I don't know what to tell you. Are you guys ready for $10 Big Macs? Because it looks like we're heading in that direction.
Just no more cows?
No, there's plenty of cows. It's the people working at the packing plants that are getting sick and can't work. There's that
Yeah, they're shutting down all those plants.
Think about
that main story in South Dakota where the governor,
What is it, like 60% of the people that work there got COVID-19?
hundreds and hundreds
Yeah.
of people at the Smithfield packing plant, this pork producing plant, got sick after the governor said, nah, I'm not going to do anything because she's like, even if I had shut the state down, it wouldn't have stopped those people from getting sick. She might be right. Who
Yeah, because
knows?
that's probably still an essential service, so they're probably still going into work.
Yeah. So there was that Smithfield plant in South Dakota where they had to close that, which that plant distributes
5% of the nation's pork.
A lot of pork. 5% doesn't sound like a lot,
But it is.
but it is.
It's a ton of pork.
A lot of pork. So they've shut that down, and there is a plant in Canada that supplies McDonald's with their hamburgers has to shut down. The Cargill Meat Processing Center, one of Canada's biggest beef packing plants. They produce patties for McDonald's, slaughtering 1,500 head of cattle per day. How do you find that many cows?
That's what I'm saying.
But that's down from 4,500.
Well, they don't have to find them.
Huh? How are there like that many? I got to tell you, I'm always amazed at how much food there is in this country. I don't ever think we're going to get to the point where it's like we run out of food. You know what I mean? There's a lot of food. But I'm always surprised. Like, you go, oh, look at all these pistachios, right?
That's your go-to.
Just as an example,
Yeah.
bag of pistachios, right? One bag has got a lot of pistachios in it.
Mm-hmm.
And they're shipping hundreds and thousands and tens of thousands of bags.
Yeah.
All of them with a lot of pistachios in them. Where are all the goddamn pistachios coming from?
Factory farms.
Wherever,
But
yeah.
that's so many pistachios.
Yeah.
And then these meat plants, they said, well, now they're down to 1,500 head of cattle per day, down from 4,500. So before the shutdown, they were slaughtering 4,500 cattle a day. Couldn't you even fathom seeing 5,000 head of cattle somewhere and you go, that's a lot of cows. That's
day.
a day at a meat packing plant. I'm just like, where are all these animals coming from?
Well-
no wonder meat's killing the planet.
Think about like Wisconsin. I know that has a lot of dairy farms, but it's like entire states that are just farming states where that's all that they do is that they have cattle farms.
Right,
And
but
it's
if I'm a guy...
thousands across the state and each one has a couple hundred, you know what I mean?
But if you took one guy, let's say one big rich rancher had 5,000 head of cattle, that'd be one day for this plant.
That's why it's
And he's like, I'm out of cattle.
But that's why it's moved into that factory farming situation where they don't just have 5,000, they have 100,000
Yeah.
cattle that they're bringing in, on a monthly basis.
So we're so far not running out of meat, but it's going to get more expensive.
Mary ran out of meat.
I've been out of meat. 70 days out of meat.
70 days out of meat.
Packing factory's been out of work.
Also, people were hitting Mary up about the whole Red Wings thing. and-
Lots of people
Yeah.
saying that you guys were wrong, that it's not, it is sex. Not
That's
the opposite.
Okay, that's not as I understand it. I think a lot of people agree with that. I think that you can use that as common nomenclature, but the legit OG Red Wings
I don't know.
are you put on your spelunking helmet
If
and you go to work.
If you go to Urban Dictionary, the first 5 definitions all have to do with cunnilingus.
With oral.
Yes,
Yes.
with oral.
Because it's not,
And
what's the big deal about just sex when someone's menstruating? Big deal. Like,
Well,
it's not, that's...
But then the 6th one is just referring to sex, and it still references that, like, hey, a lot of people refer to this as an oral situation, but the Red Wings comes from the way it gets smeared around
your
the
thighs.
legs and thighs.
On your thighs, it looks
to make
like
it look
wings.
like this
That's
wings.
right.
That
So there
makes
it is.
sense.
And then we go, and then
So
we look like the
everyone's
Joker
right.
and the whole
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
But
So,
yeah, I had a ton of, because I didn't ask me anything on my Instagram last night, and somebody was like, I feel bad that you just found out what Red Wings were. And I was like, no, I thought I knew. And then when I said that on my Instagram, I had probably 50 people reply to me and be like, I had no clue. I thought it was sex. Like, I've never heard this before.
See, okay,
Listen,
it
I
must
think
be a
it-
generational thing because you and I thought the same thing.
I think
It might be a generational thing.
I think it should be whatever you want it to be.
You earn your own badge.
You know, they say, if you believe in an afterlife, there's a school of thought that says whatever you think that is, that's what it'll be. Because it's all made up anyway.
Yeah.
So, of course, it can just be whatever you want it to be, right? Same with Red Wings. Whatever you think it should be,
It will be.
it should be. Just do that, right? If you're doing it absolutely correct, both of those activities should be involved in the same evening, by the way. So it shouldn't even be a point of contention.
It's also a sturdy dress shoe.
How can you tell a blade chuck roast from an arm chuck roast? The blade chuck roast has a long, thin cross-section of the shoulder blade bone, and the arm chuck has a small round arm bone. Both make excellent pod roast. The arm chuck has less waste, fat and bone, but the blade chuck is usually more tender and can be oven roasted if it's USDA prime or choice. For more free information, write How to Buy Meat, Agriculture Radio, Washington, D.C. 20250.
There you go. That's a little tip for everybody. How to buy meat, Agriculture Radio. It was one of my first gigs in this business. I was doing the farm report. Oh, was it scintillating?
Yes.
Okay, I've got a break. You want to send a text 35192 to do that, AlanCoxShow.com if you need to hit us up. Otherwise, next chance for you to get yourself $1,000 is a little bit later on today around 4:30.
The Alan Cox Show on 100.7